Alright, welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 127. Unlike last video, I did not make a mistake of saying this was my comic corner. Nope. Now, 4 episodes again. I know the last one was 6 episodes, only 4. Covering episodes 36, 39 of Jetman. 36 and 37, a two-parter. Yep, a two-parter. Now, this is a two-part focus on Tran. So basically, he gets tired of he starts seeing him getting belittled. Of course, it's a two-part vacation episode. Yes, a vacation episode. Excuse me. Where the whole Jetman, including the commander, are on vacation, which that's interesting. Yeah, this is one of those occasions. Now, unlike other mentors, a lot of the time they very rarely go out in the field. In the case of the commander here, she occasionally goes on the field, but not too often per se. Here, it's like, okay, so his plan is to simply use his these series of ants to control people to become gluttons. Okay. What type of ants do he use to bite these people? Are these fire ants? No, these are black ants. Okay, why the heck ants? I'd have no idea. Also, he uses a flute in this two-parter, which, by the way, after what happens at the end of the 36, he never uses ever again. It briefly appears at the start of 37, and then it's never seen again. Well, I don't know anyway, because I haven't finished watching it. So, in the case of basically, like, he gets defeated. We get another appearance by Jack Garlic. Yeah, basically, it's like the original Megazord in these episodes that doesn't really appear very much. It's like they've reduced that amount for that particular one and use the other Megazord, or at least I use that one a lot bit more, which is interesting to say the least. Yes, so at the Amazooka, Tran gets angry, so he runs away to a cave where he takes off his goggles, to his eyes first time in the series, and then he takes off his clothes. And then he gets angry. He really wants to grow up so badly. So then he proceeds to grow up to be, get this, Dr. Kemp from Live Man. You're thinking, really? Well, it's his actor. He basically becomes him. Which this is the third. This actually at the time was the third ever Super Sentai he was ever in. Though this is actually the first way he's become sort of the lead villain, and he's only here for 11 episodes. He gets taken care of by 47. I'll get that. Don't worry about that. Now, the first one he appeared was Flashman. I will be discussing that at a later point, but that one should be quite interesting to get into, especially as he appears in that one. Here, he's like a very smug guy. The first person he runs into, as soon as he... By the way, he does not put on his outfit yet, per se. His outfit is bizarre, to say the least, which I'll get to. So he appears for Ryu, chastises him, and then he goes to... Actually, he goes to Guy first, then Rito, and then Reza, and then, of course, everybody sees like, oh yeah. And then, of course, the Count, the Razor's trying to attack him. Then he's stopped by this mysterious guy. Yeah, he feels his name is Transa. Yes. Though you could say that this is his first full appearance in the series. This actually is his, this character anyways, did briefly appear toward the end of, like the very end of the last episode. Here, you get a chance to see him. And he wears his goofy outfit with this weird mohawk. I would think of like long hair in the front, like a long bang. And he becomes Transa. Yes. He's a lot taller. And then he basically summons Maria and Gray to the field, just forces him. And then when he gets back, he sits in the empty chair. A chair that's been empty since the Empress died. Yes. It did briefly appear in episode 36 here. He's sitting in the chair. And of course the Count, and of course Roger... Remember something he said back in the pilot episode. He said, we only agreed, basically, whoever be the first one to defeat the Jetman become the leader. And he's like, screw that, I'm becoming a leader. After chastising, eventually they say his name, and then he becomes, they heard of as Lord Trans. Basically, his title is Emperor Transa. Now, as for why in the world he becomes main villain, do not know the reason for this, or why in the world they said to replace the original actor. I mean, it's great to see this guy. The guy is basically a bit over the top. But here he's a little more serious than he was in Live Man. Live Man, the guy was, how should I put this? He was not that interesting of a villain. He basically is always annoyed at everything. Here he's a little more interesting. He has a very similar personality that he had in that one. At least this one, he's kind of the main villain for only about 11 episodes, which I'll get to more of that later. Oh, by the way, in 37, Raijin has got a monster. Yes, seriously. Yeah, it's his turn to have a monster in 37. Yep, he's got one. And in the case of 38, there are two monsters. There is a laser lizard, and he briefly appears, and then you have the hammer chameleon. Yeah, it was actually the first and only episode where we actually had two monsters. Interesting. Yes, as far as I can tell, this is the only time I can think of they actually had this entire run where they actually had two monsters. Oh, by the way, there's a guy who makes the appearance in the episode, Hiroku Hamadata, who actually appeared in Changeman as in this episode's Yangi. Yeah, he's here as pretty much like a one-shot character, just no friend of the lead character, which is quite interesting to say the least. Because he just appears in Changeman just a few years prior, like 7 years prior to this one. Yeah, like here's the thing, Changeman came out in 1985. This came out in 1991. So this was this actor's first appearance in the Super Sentai franchise for the first time in about 5 years, I'd say. Yes. I mean, it is interesting that he popped up again, but as far as I can tell, he pretty much never appeared in Super Sentai ever again. Yep, and the whole point of this one, trying to figure out the secrets of the Biobug, which is interesting to say the least. And Tran goes and this bad fact the monsters episode are both his. I like 37 wasn't his at all. And but of course the monsters basically gets destroyed, it gets reborn thanks to the Biobug from the other monster in the episode. And it goes giant size, and they send the monster and they beat it. And then he does basically chastise his own subordinates, despite the fact that technically it was his fault, it was his monster. That's why I think chastise him for it. Now, the next episode is all focused on Gray, which I do like episodes focused on him. He's an interesting character. He's kind of a robotic version. He's basically a robot version of James Bond. So, basically, his plan is just to draw out them a game. Yes. So, he duels the Count Raijin, challenges him to a game of head and tails. Whoever wins takes on the Jetman. Raijin chooses tails. Gray chooses heads. And he wins. And it turns out it's a double-headed coin. He was going to go anyways. And then he unleashes his final monster of Jetman, Sniper Cat. Yep, his last one. Now here's the thing. Raijin has got two monsters left. Tran has got, let's see, he has roughly how many left? Let's see. Yeah, Gray's got his last one, Sniper Cat. Now Tran himself has got two monsters left, and so does Raijin. That's interesting. Yes, which is kind of weird. Yeah, and it seems as though, like after what happens in, 45, there is, one more monster after this one, and then there's, nothing much. There's basically just wrap it up at that point. Yeah, so Gray fights the Jetman, turns four of them into basically chess pieces. He turns basically all but Guy into chess piece. The Guy takes his heart, goes back to the HQ, and figures out what to do next. Just see those wounds. And then Gray challenges him to come to Casino Royale, which I'm thinking, wait, is this James Bond? And it kind of is, because there's Gray in this casino. Now, when you think Casino Royale, you think of a card game. Not in the case of this episode. Nope. It's a different gambling game. Now, you're probably thinking, have I ever played this one? Yes, I have. I actually played it once. Not an actual casino, of course. No, no, no. It was for a charity thing. I didn't exactly win anything. I actually lost after playing one round of it. But I have played this before. What game is it? Craps. Yes, that is the serious name of this thing. Yes, it is it's a game of strategy, and it's also a very risky game to play, because if you lose a lot of money. Sometimes people could be lucky, and the color is basic. And here's the thing: the rules of this game basically are the rules I remember hearing basically about this game. You land red, you land black. Now, one thing they don't use. Now, one thing you're supposed to use when you actually play this game is that you're supposed to have these chips. Now, they don't have chips here. They use the chess pieces, and they basically gamble everybody. And then, of course, look like they're about to lose after losing all. And, of course, now, Guy brought Gray's heart, except he decided to make it even. 4 chess pieces to 4 Jetman. He decided to split up Gray's heart to 4 pieces. Okay. After Gray wins the first round, we see that he's bleeding. Yes. Well, he's leaking oil. As for what the heck is causing this, it could be because of his heart. I'm not sure. And eventually, toward the end of the game, he actually managed to gain most of his heart back. And he gets the final thing, like, look, oh, he won. And then for some reason, looked like he was about to cheat. Like, oh, did Guy cheat? And then we see the ball bounce. Oh, from red to black. And then the Jetman turned back to normal. And of course, Gray's like, what the heck just happened here? I thought I won. Well, that's because Job Boy basically is there. He apparently took the time, and apparently no one noticed this. He apparently very quietly lifted this casino up off the ground, and they tipped the casino in order for that ball to move. Basically, they cheated. They got back the Jetman. The Jetman basically back to the form, and of course, defeat the monster at the very end. Oh, and by the way, after the monster's beaten, basically, Guy's like, here, you can have your heart back. And next time, do like men. And then they have the battle with the Sniper Cat, and he's defeated. Quite an interesting episode this one is. And it's a Guy episode, which is interesting to say the least. If you think of like the previous episode, episode 38, it's a Ryu episode. Of course, the previous one was 2-parter. Yep. But yeah, really good 4 episodes. I thoroughly enjoy them. We got a lot of development on the series in these 4. The 2-parter was really good. Though next episode we'll be covering another 2-parter. Actually, more like basically 2 multi-parters. Because basically I don't have more time doing more videos now because it's getting pretty late. Yes, so that's going to be pretty much it for this particular video. Stay tuned for tomorrow for some more Super Sentai. And here's something special. The return of Overlord. Yes, the first time I get a chance to view this series in 4 years. Yep. Until this next video. Bye.